Okay, at 6:30, we'll call the meeting to order. And we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have all 5 select board members here. Welcome, Michael Lynn and Doug. I'll call for nominations for chair of the board.
I nominate Don, what's his name? Dan Newman. As chair. Good old Don.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? All right, so with no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of Dan as chair of the board? Unanimous. There you go. Congratulations, Dan.
Want to change 16?
No, actually, I prefer to sit over here because I can actually see when somebody wants to
Oh,
ask a question.
okay.
Good point.
All right, so now it's my turn, right?
Yes.
So now we're gonna call for a vote, nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Barbara Allen for vice chair.
I'll second. If you want, so.
Last time I was vice chair, I didn't have to do very much, so but just make sure that's the case this time.
Right. Nominations, close the nominations and call for a vote. All those in favor? 3 over 5,
Okay.
0 against. All right. So now I need a motion to open the meeting.
So moved?
Sorry.
All those in favor? 5-0. Now's the time we do public comment. We allow people to bring things forward that aren't on the agenda for discussion or comments. Any requests will probably, well, won't be acted on tonight, but will be put forward on a future agenda for consideration. First,
Just one thing, and maybe Lorna can answer this right off the top of her head. I had a taxpayer when I was going to my truck Saturday at the town meeting on the audit, but that, not the final audit, but the audit was published in the annual report. There's a reserve account for $190 some odd $1,000, and it's called other. So I kind of, they'd like an answer why, and I'm kind of curious what that other capital reserve is.
I don't know what that is without taking a look at the draft audit, Bruce, but I'll take a look at it
Okay,
yeah,
probably tonight or
I did
tomorrow.
notice that it does say other
Yeah.
for a line.
Yeah. I'll find it. I'll find it.
it may change when you get the audit, I don't know, so,
Yeah.
the final audit.
Yeah, I'll find out and get that for you, Bruce.
Dan? I would just like to say that, to my comment, give credit where credit's due. And a big thank you to, Kristen and the Center for All Seasons, to Corey and his guys for all the work they did setting up, for, especially for Mary, who did a tremendous amount of work for the clerks, for everything, to get the meeting together and going, and just to publicly acknowledge that we appreciate all the extra effort they put into it.
Also Christian.
Oh, and Christian Bishop, who did an excellent job. Yeah, so.
Anything else, Anthony?
Anthony Wilson, citizen. While we're on the topic of town meeting, I was surprised when I went onto our website, and by our website, I mean the town's website, on Friday morning, and could find no information about the times when voting was occurring on Friday. The there wasn't anything on the calendar, which is prominent on your homepage. And so I noticed later in the day, I got an email, through the email alerts at 12:20 PM. That an urgent alert was sent out about voting occurring on that day until 8 PM. There was nothing on your website at that time about when town meeting the next day was actually occurring. And so the next day, I noticed I got an email at 4 AM on the day of town meeting saying that town meeting was occurring at 1 PM. It's hard for me to understand how it is that a town doesn't post something like that on its website and on its Facebook page, and nothing about town meeting was ever posted on the town's Facebook page. And letting folks know that this is occurring so that they can plan to come and attend and participate and engage in what is the most important day of the municipal year. And putting on your Facebook page, that gives you an opportunity to boost it then for a minimal amount of money in order to reach a wider audience. Again, to try to engage as many citizens as you possibly can for the most important day and meeting of the year. I think that was a tremendous failure on the part of the town of Belgrade. We gotta do better. And I think the use of the urgent alerts, I mean, there was nothing on the calendar, there was no news item. You know, even though you guys have told me you're gonna do like an excellent job in promoting the July 1 fiscal year, there was nothing on the website that I could find about it. There was a brief mention in a newsletter and 2 sentences in the annual report. Fortunately, that did pass, but my point is you gotta do better. I don't think you're using your urgent alerts in a way that's effective, because if you're constantly using that, nothing becomes urgent. If everything's urgent, nothing is urgent. So that's one point I wanted to raise. In regards to the July 1 fiscal year, I really hope that this select board will, on your next agenda, have an item on there to approve the July 1 fiscal year. The voters have spoken. It was overwhelming. So now it's incumbent upon you not only to give action to that item, but then to begin the really difficult work of deciding the logistics about how that is going to happen. Because it's going to be pretty involved. And that needs to be communicated better than we did with the vote on the non-binding referendum, better than what we did for town meeting, to ensure that people understand that process so that they're not surprised when they get a 6-month tax bill in the mail.
Find out what happened with that. I'm sure some of it has to do with being short-staffed in the office and everybody doing too much, but yes, that should have been all on the website.
Dan, I think the folks in the Winthrop town office would tell you, people are only interested in results, not excuses.
This isn't Winthrop.
It's not Winthrop, but people are interested in results, not
Right,
excuses.
and we need to find out what happened. Yes. Anything else? All right, next is unfinished business. So, sorry, review and approval of the minutes, March 4th. We made a motion to,
I move we approve the minutes for March 4th.
Second. You get it all done?
Okay,
numbers, really a whole lot to do with those, but
yeah,
you or Barbara find.
I did not see anything.
I didn't see anything.
Barbara's usually the eagle eye that finds them.
Well, that's good to me.
I went down real quick and I would put them there.
Yeah.
All right, if we don't have any changes, take a vote to accept the minutes. March 4th.
Are you gonna call the vote, or do we have to call the vote?
Well, I mean, if you want to make a motion to.
Oh, I thought I
We made
did.
a motion
I did.
to accept.
You
To
seconded it.
accept them.
And
no
second.
changes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
no change.
right.
So we just need the vote.
Yeah, he just called for.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
I approve.
Carol.
yes.
And me, and it's 5-0. Now we'll move on to unfinished business, which is water district well contamination
Good one.
updates.
Good evening. My name is Dwight Dowdy. I'm with Maine Department of Transportation. I work as a hydrogeologist in their environmental office. I've been working with you folks for a few years to address some of the salt impacts in what we call the triangle, which is Route 11, 27, and 33. I believe the last time I attended, we provided an update on the design of the water system. And we recently received, we're pushing through about 80% design on that right now. And so the engineers involved were able to generate a updated cost estimate. And so we were looking at now, with the build out would be about $2.8 million. And if you recall, the way that it was set up with the agreement is the DOT will build it and then the town will give it to the town and they will operate it. I think at that time, at the last meeting, there was also some discussion about should we, knowing that the last estimate was rather high and that things don't seem to be going down in price. There was a suggestion of perhaps revisiting some of the other earlier options that we looked at. And those options included some purchase of some properties if possible. And we've also added another option. We've got better appreciation and understanding on how to install water treatment systems for salt removal in modular homes. We've addressed some of those over the last several years and unfortunately gained experience in that arena. So having said all that, we put together a list of 3 options. Option A being the $2.8 million in operational costs associated with the water supply. Option B, we looked at the possibility of purchasing 5 homes. And these are 5 modular homes. Those were more complex and problematic with installing treatment systems because they don't have basements. And then in the remaining 8 properties, which all have basements, we can install treatment systems. And by way of background, we talk about treatment systems. We're looking at reverse osmosis units, which is a treatment train essentially where water softeners and we have storage capacity as well as removal of the salt and any other metals that may be in the water. And there is a polishing with a UV system as well. So that consumes about an 8x10 space. And so that's the area that we're looking, you need to install one of these treatment systems. So understanding that the challenges with the modular homes, option B looked at the potential for purchase of those 5 with the assumption that it was $300,000 per home. Again, this is developed the world according to Dwight Dowdy, and I'm a hydrogeologist and not a real estate expert. We try to keep it very simplistic, 300,000 per home, and that comes, and then with the treatment systems, we're looking at about $60,000 per location. That's about $30,000 for the install and equipment, and about $30,000 for a 15-year cycle, which includes increase in electrical and annual maintenance costs. So that option B with the purchase of those 5 properties, as well as the installation of 8 treatment systems works out to be about $2 million. Option C is one where we approach all the property owners and install treatment systems. With the caveat for the 5 modular homes, we would either have to construct bump outs, attachments that are heated and insulated, or independent sheds that are also heated and insulated. When we look at those, as I said earlier, we've had some experience in that, and we're finding construction of those units running in the $70,000 to $90,000 range. And then when you add the other $60,000, you're looking at about $150,000 per home at those locations. And again, with the 8 remaining properties, about $60,000, works out to be a $1.25 million. So the 3 options you can see, with the latter being treatment systems for all, it works out to be the cheapest, certainly compared to the 2.8. I will mention that the arrangement we have with the town is for options B and C, either the 2 million or the 1.3 million rounded up. it would be a 50-50 split with the town.
You know, with options B and C, once you do the settlement, we're done, then we don't have to deal with doing any more repairs. Ever.
So included in that would be trying to ferret out any issues associated with the fixtures, appliances, and the plumbing in each one of these properties, and going through and resolving all of those. The settlement arrangement usually works out to be about, it's a $50 a month increase that we anticipate over a 15-year period, works out to be $9,000 or $10,000, and it's about $20,000 of annual maintenance. With the RO units, when installed, they recommend the ROs be serviced every 2 to 4 years. We recommend every 2 years. And we encourage the maintenance. It's like anything else.
But what I'm getting at is, who performs the maintenance after the settlement?
The settlement is signed and we give a check. The check is.
And then it's up to the
homeowner, and it's their
individual homeowner to
responsibility.
maintain everything.
Yep.
And what happens if they don't maintain it?
Their signed agreement is a settlement that they're responsible for.
Okay. I just don't want it to be passed on to the next
Right.
person and have them come back to us.
We've seen it all, unfortunately, we've seen folks get brand new pickup trucks, but we've also seen people set up dedicated accounts to put their money in.
Okay. Barbara, did you have something?
I did. For option B, acquire the modular home properties. Who then would own the land? Does DOT and the town own the land jointly for those properties?
The devil's in the details, and haven't got that far yet. These are all just, very hand waving suggestions right now.
Okay. Do you have any similar experience with other towns as to how that was handled?
Fortunately, no.
We love being pioneers.
No, we have not bought properties in concert with anybody else, to the best of my knowledge. I can't speak for the department, but we're typically not a property holding organization.
Right.
And so, it's certainly something we can work with the town on.
So just because we do have 2 new select board members, am I correct that if we go with building the system, the state is responsible for the first year for repairs? And then the town is responsible for repairs after that first year?
You mean the water supply system?
Yes,
I think there's obviously a warranty period. I think it's typically 2 years.
okay,
And so there would be that obviously that 1 year window if there was any issues.
and we've been given a price of about $30,000 a year in the first year that, to run the system, and that we'd be paying that forever, so.
So if we went with the water system, most of these properties, they got plumbing fixtures got to be replaced, one's gotta have a boiler replaced. So is that would be a 50, still would that be to do the repairs after the water system's put in, is that a 50-50 split, or is that all in the town of Belgrade?
We did the repairs before the
The water,
system water treatment was put in.
not to watch it, if we put in the water system, the whole,
Then again, repairs would be made and it's a 50-50 split in the repairs.
Okay, repairs and appliances.
Yes, yeah.
the one thing, I'd recommend DFC, but that's just me. It's a safe, B and C is a savings to both the town and main DOT.
With, say C, if that happens. See, I know with the water system, it gives us a little bit of room if another property shows up, that we could probably get into it. What happens with C? If we start having more properties, is this gonna come back and we're gonna be able to do the same thing with anything additional? Because obviously at that point, we're not gonna have enough to put in a water system anymore.
No,
For water
it would
district.
be, again, it'd be a new claim. And we don't typically settle the claims with water supply systems. To my knowledge, we have not done one. We've been very successful in putting in replacement wells or treatment systems, and the technology has certainly advanced in leaps and bounds over the last 5 years in the treatment arena. And so we've seen these systems be very efficient and very effective.
So Dwight, if the town moves to adopt option C, And the properties identified already are addressed. I think what you were asking, Dan, was, so we get new claims, so those were treated as new claims and we go through this whole process again.
It'd be-
With the exception that we're not looking at a water district.
I think a good analogy is what we're doing in Pinkham's Cove for the town right now.
Right, okay, good job.
Dwight, I mean, I personally happen to like option B, but if we look at, so there I'm thinking you were gonna pay 2.8 and on option B, you're paying $1 million. So the state's saving $1.8 million. Is there a way to look at a little better split? Because that then means the town's got to come up with $1 million that we may not have sitting in our back pocket. And
I think I prefaced my statement earlier that I'm a hydrogeologist. I know the agreement was put together in 2011 timeframe, I think.
Right.
And understanding that there were potential for more claims in the area, so I'm not sure if there's enough interest in revisiting that or not, but I think as brought up, you know, if you look at these options B and C, there's a savings for all parties involved.
the difference I see is us budgeting 30,000 plus money into reserve account for when we have that $100,000 repair. And then the next year we might budget 32 and next year we, you know, so that we'd be spreading our payment out over within our budget as opposed to coming up with 100 without coming up with $1 million right away, even though we have some there. But there's a distinct savings on the state's end. So that's why I wanted to see if that's something we could look at negotiating in there,
I will defer to
The lawyers.
the lawyers.
thank you, yeah. I will say, we are working with another community, and we have the 50-50 share as well.
Mhm.
So, and that seems to be very common, we work with the town of Gray as well, and there was a 50-50
Mhm.
there as well.
I
Keep
can,
in mind, sorry, Dan, but keep in mind, when you look at these numbers, those are actual construction costs. What you don't see is the time spent behind the scenes.
Right.
Our attorneys, my
Right.
time, my colleagues' times. There's a lot of legwork that goes behind that. That's not being charged to the community.
Right,
just so you know where I am, my preference out of all these would be C rather than B.
Mhm.
I really don't wanna take 5 properties off the tax rolls by buying them, because basically you're buying them and tearing them down because you're not putting water systems in. They're only putting water systems in the other 8 that are
Yeah.
affected. I prefer to put the systems in, settle with the people, and still keep the houses on tax roll.
so from my perspective, I'd want to look at, I mean, I'm open to B or C, looking at B that, if we end up working out a deal where we end up with the land, we then have, we then would have space for public works into the future, which we have put some money away to buy public works. And I don't know how much that is in the tax roll. So that's the piece I look at is this would give us land that's sort of contiguous with where we are to do something, but.
Yeah, the only problem with that is where this land is. It's on
Mhm.
that hill. And to put a public works in on that hill. Right across from the house. That gave us so much trouble because he didn't want the fire station on the corner across from him. I think would be in court and everything else, so it's something we're gonna have to look
We'd
at.
have to go, but public works might be a little different than the fire station, but still, you
I
don't have the
know.
sirens going
No,
on.
they still go out all the time.
Yeah, I would still going a whole deal, so, but yeah, I mean, I honestly think that now that we have these other options, we need to seriously
need to-
consider them.
And I think if you recall, purchasing homes is a very emotional process.
Right,
And we saw that with one of the properties several years ago. We tried to make arrangements to purchase, and it didn't materialize, it fell through. And again, it was because the homeowners were very passionate about their property.
However, the amount of money that you're suggesting now is significantly more than I believe was being suggested previously, so that may take
It
some
would
of
be,
that out.
obviously, it will be a fair market value. The way the department works is we have appraisers that will take comps and set that fair market value. And then I believe there is also some relocation assistance provided. So some of the challenges here is I'm trying to find a comparable property.
Right.
In the area.
Right, and you're not sure of the logistics on who ends up owning the property after.
No. Well, obviously either the town and the state, if it's a 50-50 purchase, right? And then, that further deal could be brokered as to who ultimately owns it.
Right, so ultimately, I mean, we may pay half to buy it, and if we want the land for public works, we could buy it, paying the other half to buy it.
Well, or if we're saving that amount of money, that we work something out with the state on a better deal of the ownership of, all things are open to negotiation, so.
I'm just a hydrogeologist.
I understand that. So what are you looking at time frame for an answer? It sounds like, we need to have some time to kick it around ourselves.
Certainly, what I've asked our engineering design consultants is to sort of throttle it back a little bit and slow down. Understanding that this meeting was gonna happen, and my apologies for not showing up 2 weeks ago, I was not feeling well. So obviously we can move forward pretty quickly on some of the treatment systems, particularly with those that have existing basements. We have vendors under contract that can readily start and get those things done.
I guess my question is, when do you need an answer? I think, at least I feel we need to talk around a little and noodle it.
Say sometime in May timeframe or April, May.
Yeah, if we could try to get it done before.
Oh, I think we should move
Yeah,
move
I
ahead
think
as soon
we're-
as we can,
Yeah.
but to look at working out some of the other details and the land ownership and that might make a decision on
Yeah.
whether we like B or C.
Maybe we need to contact somebody from the state that does those kind of negotiations, find out. I don't know if you can go through your department, find out who we have to talk to, or if Lorna has to start making calls.
That's something in the back of my mind is the logistics of actually making an introduction and asking about buying a property, so who does that?
Yeah.
Right, so it's just, who do we contact at the state to get some of these answers?
I think once we get to a process, if the decision is favorable to move forward with one of these options, we can bring in the powers that be at DOT to discuss further with you guys how to move forward.
Well, I think one of the questions that's gonna determine which way we go is gonna be
Right,
who's gonna end up with the land if we go that way, so.
I will say with option C, we can yabba dabba do right away.
Right, that seems like it's simply something easy, it's B that's
Right.
gonna take some.
We can probably.
But I think in terms of-
See.
In terms of thinking about acquiring the land, we need to look at the topography and.
Right.
Because there's no point in
ultimately
town
end up
acquiring the
with that.
land unless it would be usable for
Right.
public works or fire station or,
Yeah, well,
Whatever.
fire station's probably not going there,
right, I know.
we've already got a piece of land, but,
Keep in
Or
mind,
park.
if you want to, any type of building you put there, the water supply is going to need either treatment or impact.
right.
Right.
And as we find at our maintenance camps, when you have a salt impacted well and you're using the water to remove salt off your trucks and equipment,
it's like going to a car wash that recycles the water,
exactly, right, right.
which is most of them. Yes.
Yeah, the chloride's not removed.
Well, most of them don't recycle the water, if not, they wouldn't be able to afford the water bill.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate it. Anybody else got any questions? Appreciate it. We'll have Lorna get a hold of you at some point. We'll start having discussions on it.
And just real quick, we are trying to move forward with the installation of treatment systems at the two properties in
Oh,
Thanks.
in
I think that's
Pecos.
great.
Working with the code enforcement officer, one of the locations, we think we can build a pump out. We have sufficient space available on the footprint of that property to do so. And the second property is probably going to require an external shed, an insulated shed. And we've reached out to the code enforcement officer to see what the viability of that is.
Great, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
All right, so we can make a note, and try to get this on for the discussion.
Maybe first meeting in May, or do you want it sooner?
No, I-
Probably.
Second meeting in April?
Yeah, at the very least, maybe we can have it on the first one also, just for a quick discussion, so we can try to get a direction. of
Yeah, I
what's
think
out.
we should have a discussion among ourselves.
Right, just a quick, that way we give some direction as to which way we tend to.
Maybe if we come back in the next meeting with questions we have that we want to get answers to.
Okay, I'll put it on for April 1.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
No, polling. April 3rd.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, next item on unfinished business is the sale program, Parks and Rec.
So you have in your packet that Warner sent out Exhibit A, which this was discussed, but out of respect for the new select board members, that's a list of what we are purchasing from Great Pond Yacht Club. So floating docks, anchors and chains, the sun-dry and ancillary equipment, so ropes for big heads, items to be used, boat, sail winches. The boats are already being stored at Parks and Recreation down by our Loon Cottage near the lake. So we are purchasing 6 of the RS Terra sailboats, and the value is in parentheses, but we are essentially purchasing them for $1 a piece. So anything floating is being purchased by us from the Great Pond Yacht Club with the agreement that within 30 days after sail camp ends this summer, if we agree that sail camp was not successful, then the 2 of us can come back to the table and they have the opportunity to purchase the floating assets back for $1 a piece again. 2 of the 420 sailboats, so the RS Terras are the little sunfish. The 420 sailboats are the next size up, so they're 16 footers, I believe. The Defender rib boat is like a Zodiac with the Yamaha engine. It has a trailer. It's not listed on here, but he said that that was an error in typing, so it is on there. Hull numbers are listed for you, and then at the bottom, the rigid is listed. So the purchase and sales agreement is also attached. You'll see that. It was approved, but we were waiting for the town attorney to approve it. They had no issues, so we just need your approval to move forward. We're ready to open registration for sale camp essentially, but we wanted to make sure that this was signed and taken care of prior. We have already Lorna has already priced out the insurance needed for the summer camp, which was about $1,600. We budgeted that based on what we knew would come in from revenue. And we fall within the parameters of our licensure, which is a $95 day camp licensure fee, and we've already taken care of that. So.
The only thing I think we need to change is it's on the 3rd paragraph. It says sale and transfer of this boat. So I think it needs to say these boats and equipment, because that's part of it.
Yeah.
And just make that correction. The rest of it look great. So.
I have a question not related to the actual contract, but how are you doing on finding a sale instructor?
I had an interview tomorrow morning and another one Friday.
Oh,
I've
good.
had 4 inquiries since our last post, so I
Okay,
feel
great.
like we're in pretty good.
It's
Great.
coming along.
Okay, great.
It's coming along.
Yeah.
The one tomorrow is the one we need, so if we get him, because he is already Sail 1 certified, so that's a step in the
Oh.
right direction.
Super.
Yeah.
Then the assistant should be easy to place. So.
All right, as far as the sale program, we don't need a vote because that was already approved, and we can't take back votes that have already been done, but I would take a motion to. Approve the bill of sale as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? 5-0.
Oh.
It's new business. New appointments, yes, names. We have one reappointment Because that was. Reappointment of assessing agent RJ. Listen.
Yeah.
Well,
1 year. Do you appoint those or does it comes, does it?
The whole list are people that I appoint. Yep. I can't appoint the
Okay,
assessing.
Rob, we
agent.
do with the rest.
Yeah, only the board can do that, by law.
All right, so, we have a motion to reappoint Rob.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0. As for water, I don't see any problem with anything here. Does anyone have any concerns or comments?
do we need to read them in the record or just reference them?
I can reference them and put them in the minutes.
Just put them in the
Put in
minutes.
the minute,
Sure,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. Good.
Nothing's changing. They're all people that have held the positions.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Good.
And hopefully we'll be changing that treasurer one here shortly, right?
Yay. Yes.
All right, the next item is Parks and Rec again, pool liner replacement.
Yep, that's me again. So you have the attachment, which was, I had sent to Lorna, which breaks down the in-ground liner replacement estimate, full size, full shape, all of the details are there. The priority at this point would be the actual liner being reinstalled. So it was determined 3 years ago that the pool liner had approximately a 2-year lifespan left. Anything beyond that, based on where it's at and the amount that it's used during the summer camp program, we would be starting to look at it not being repairable, essentially. The situation we currently sit in, regardless, because obviously it's closed for the winter right now, even if we don't replace the liner, we have to reline the stairs in order to get our licensure for the summer from the state of Maine to say that we're compliant. So we were on a 16-month approval for that. They were told in the fall of last year that it needed to be taken care of. If that part of it is not taken care of, we can't open the pool for the summer, not even for summer camp. So essentially what it is 4-inch wide markings going into the staircase that goes into the pool that gives people depth perception. It doesn't have to do with ADA compliance, it has to do with just basic licensure from the state. So if we don't even replace the liner, the pool still needs to be drained in the spring and we still need to cover the cost of refilling it and we still need to pay them to remark this.
Do we know how old the current liner is?
Current liner is 13 years old.
Oh my God.
And based on where it sits with the tree overgrowth prior to pouring and taking care of trees getting cut and all of the other things, it was already starting to have wear and tear. The bigger issue is that whoever serviced the pool last filled the drain plug in the bottom, which has contributed to the issues that we're having with water quality there, which is why we continue to get shut down by the state. So I have been trying to access the records of like what the state said about the water quality and I haven't been able to do that. Jeff from Sunshine Pools has been amazing and he's trying to pull those for us as quickly as possible. He pretty much just said like, that's where you sit. So if we don't replace the liner this year and worst case scenario, it falls in and we start to fall into more serious disrepair, we would be looking at more major things, which then put us out of compliance with the current ADA. So in 2010, I couldn't attach it, but in 2010, they essentially said anything new construction or being replaced has to be replaced to ADA compliant. So we are currently grandfathered because we have an existing structure. And that's based on 5 things. The nature and cost of the action, which we know is greater than this full replacement. So we're grandfathered in that, yes, you're still able to fix it with just the liner. The resources of the site or the sites involved, the geographic separateness in relationship to the site and the entity, and then how it's impactful. So we are a community pool, even though we don't open up to the community currently. We do open up for summer camp and we're greater than 60 people using the pool on a daily basis from July to August. So we do fall under the grandfather rule, but if we let it go, we don't, and we would be looking at either not having a pool at all or having to build to meet ADA compliance, which would be lifts, double swinging gates, new paved walkways, extended sidewalks, probably well beyond our budgetary restrictions at this time. So you can see the breakdown there. His total cost for replacement, the liner is $9,699. The upgrade to the 27 mil is the quality of the liner. He recommended it was worth the $500
Thickness.
all day long. We do not have a liner overstep, so the only way that would fall into consideration, which is the additional $500, is if when they address the drain issue in the bottom of the pool, they need more liner to go up over the edge. And then if we wanted to upgrade everything to 28 mils, that would be $750. He didn't think we needed that one. He said we don't have direct sunlight there more than 8 hours a day, so he felt we could get away with the 500, but that would be up to us. So essentially what rec needs is approval to move forward with this. We need a $1,000 deposit by May 1st to order the liner. It would put us on the books to have the liner replaced and the drain issue addressed prior to summer camp opening on June 19th. Rec department would be looking at the reserve for this at this time.
Okay, I was wondering if that was a
Yeah.
budget item for this.
In your packet, you do have that information to see what we have for a balance. Bless you, in that reserve account, right now it's 84,805.
So unfortunately, it wasn't put into the budget for this year. I can't speak to that. I don't know where we sat with considerations, but it was presented, yeah, three years ago. We were on kind of a two-year.
What's the cost to fill the pool? I know it says they, at least one load of water. Do you
It's
know?
at least one load, and he said that's probably around $500. In the past, they can fill pools with the fire department. It just requires additional treatment after because they're pulling from lakes. Corey and I are both scheduled right now to be trained for pool certification to operate the pool and keep the maintenance where it needs to be. So hopefully that's gonna save in the end because they agreed to give us a kind of a 2-for-1 deal.
Bruce, how hard would we put a good pump down? Like, put us pump it directly from the
Yeah,
lake,
you
so it's a
could,
truck,
you just put a full pump in the hose.
yeah. So, I think that's something,
We can
we'll consider
So
that,
could save.
because that,
Okay.
most of these guys, the splash trucks, go pull it out of the lake anyway.
And that's exactly what he said, so.
dam in Oakland.
Yes, there's.
So, like I said,
He
they
said
pull
the
from the
same
same
thing.
places we do, so.
So a little background on this particular contact, they have been working with Dan to resolve issues for a couple of years. So they were pulled in, they're familiar with the pool within the last 6 years anyway. They've worked heavily for the last 2 to address the chemical issues. I did reach out to 2 additional pool companies just to get an estimate. One was Verbal, that was closer to $15,000 without water. And they have no knowledge of our drain, so I would prefer to lean more towards these people who already have the experience, but we can certainly seek an alternative if needed.
I can speak for these people too. We've used them for 15 years
Mhm.
with our pool. They're super. Yeah, very good.
One thing I would like to see, or at least see considered. Is if we get this thing redone and up and running. Possibly finding a part-time lifeguard and one night a week or something, open it up for town residents.
It is already taken care of.
So,
I have 2 additional lifeguards on board for the summer. We have one that's experienced in one, and both are, 2 of the 3 are willing to operate.
Yeah, it's just, I've heard from a few people.
Absolutely.
You know, it's open for the rec, can we
I
get some
agree.
time for the town residents?
I-
Mary,
Mary,
yeah, Mary, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to remind the board that they did designate $75,000 out of the Recreation Capital Reserve towards the design and review of the Center for All Seasons. So if you take that $75,000 off from the 84, what's your balance?
So
We,
I-
we
That's the
still
check.
have the, money from 2024 to add into that reserve account too, Mary. That's not factored into that
Is it
84,000.
not factored? Because I thought it was already factored in according to the draft report.
No,
Okay,
that's not it. No.
Okay. okay, no, that's fine.
And we didn't put any money in the reserve accounts, right?
What's left over from the budget
just all
goes
goes in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it goes
okay.
in, yeah. So you will have some additional funds there.
And Dan, just speaking from the rec board, we have been discussing opening the pool at possibly weekend Saturdays, if we can get a lifeguard, so we have been tossing that around. I think we have the
That would
same
be
feeling as.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That would be
just something Saturday or at least a night during the week.
I mean, just judging from what we got out of the skating rink, I think, you know, things like that would be great for the community.
Very popular.
Yeah,
And the upgrade in addressing the drain is gonna address the water quality, which will allow us to do that, because right now, just based on what it was being used for summer camp kids, because of how much it was being used, they were having trouble keeping it clear, so.
Mhm.
Is the drain?
The drain is,
addressed in this, or that
it
already-
is, he just said that that's included in the liner replacement, because they know what needs to be done, and essentially just needs to be opened back up. The liner was never cut around it, so it's totally gone. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he said it's just an easier installation, and they weren't the ones who installed it, so they will cut corners and just cover the drain, thinking that the two circulators will do the job.
Yeah, that was 15 years ago, so I have no idea who that was.
Yeah.
All right.
So basically you need $10,199 so that you can upgrade to the 27 millimeter. I move that we approve, a budget of $10,199 to, repair, the pool or pool liner. And that we take it out of the recreational reserve account.
Second.
We also have to separate the 1,000 down,
Do we what?
the 1,000 down, they need to get on the list, or that can.
No, that would come out of that.
I do have one more quick question, so before we vote on it. The upgrade to 27 mil was 500.
Yep,
If you go to 28 mil everywhere, is the total,
the total upgrade is an additional.
so it's 500 plus 750.
Yeah.
Okay,
And he didn't think we needed that.
He didn't think we needed it. He said if we start cutting a bunch of trees and we're in more direct sunlight all of the time, he would recommend it, but he didn't. He thought the longevity of this liner would be an easy 20-25 years.
okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second.
Yeah, we don't have a
We
second.
don't have a second.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, I
Barbara
apologize.
seconded.
Thank you. Okay.
All those in favor? Okay. 3, 4, 5. 5-0. Next is supplemental tree growth.
Rob is away on vacation, so he's not here to, explain this, and I read about it. Lot size, 10 acres, in tree growth, but they pulled out, at least 1 acre and built a home. So it violates that 10 acre minimum. There's a supplemental bill because it is now out of tree growth.
Tree growth.
Yeah. So he's included, he included the memo and of course, the supplemental bill.
Okay, and they've been informed of,
Yes, he's been in contact. Oh, yes.
okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Motion to approve it,
So moved.
Second.
all those in favor? 3, 4, 5.
And then there's a form for us to sign in the book.
There is.
Okay.
In your grade
In the
folder.
gray package.
Should be,
yeah, I
yep,
have it here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next item is request to put an RFP for sand and salt shed roof.
Good evening.
Yes.
You know,
What's that?
you got a busy note.
So the estimate that I got from the only person that responded to my request for getting prices was $29,000. To replace roughly 6,000 screws with an upgraded screw and replace 3 panels in the front of the building, 2 panels in front of the building that the salt trucks have backed into from over the doors. So,
Are they dented or they
oh
hold?
yeah, they're dented.
No holes on?
The bottom of them are rolled right in, so there's holes that way, but not technically in the, we have the metal.
No.
So it would just be a matter of them, when they're there with the boom lift, to change it out at the same time.
So I'm sure we have ropes and harnesses, we can just hang you, put ready to change screws. There's just screws.
Just screws. But in the meantime, I had somebody else look at another project inside the salt shed, and he requests, now that he knows about it, for us to put this out to RFP, because he's already done one, and he's, would love to do this one also. So,
I think it's a good idea, we can
Yeah.
save some money.
we're gonna save quite a bit of money, I think.
Right.
So I'm just looking to see if we can put it out to RFP and go from there.
Is it the gaskets on the screws that have failed?
The screws are popping, I guess. From what the insurance company says. Take it with a grain of salt. They've been overfilling this sand salt shed. And they've seen it in the other buildings of the same design, where they're above the full line, which is pushing pressure on the upper part of the wall and torquing the roof.
So the screws breaking off or stripping out?
I think they're stripping out, so the plan is to put the next size screw and a longer screw in.
They'll probably have a bigger washer to
Yeah.
cover that area.
Yeah. Because there's probably 40 leaks in there at the moment, and who knows what. What else?
How long is a longer screw gonna do much good, you only got so much metal that's going through.
No, but it goes into the wood,
Oh, there's a bunch of wood up there too.
yeah. Bruce?
Yep.
So are we exceeding the full mark in there or no? I thought they've been doing it right to the full mark.
They've been exceeding.
Yeah, okay.
Matter of fact, I had them get the excavator and remove a considerable amount of stuff earlier this year when the insurance company walked through and said, why is that like that?
Okay,
So Jason and I have talked about it, and I think we're all set.
all right, any other questions?
I move we put the sand and salt shed roof repair out for RFP.
All right, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
On another note, there's 2x6s inside the building, cross members that have been busted. That need to be replaced, only about $2,500, so I'm going to schedule that to be done. So that they can get in there with a boom lift and replace those.
So one of the fourth question, how much sand's left in there?
Quarter probably, I haven't looked at it recently, but the last time I was in there, probably a quarter, maybe a little more.
So what's left, you're gonna have to move out?
No,
Okay,
we can do it with a boom lift over the top of what's left.
okay.
So the 2x6s are like cross members?
Yeah, they're like cross.
You wanna change those
They
before the roof?
sort of like
Yeah.
come at an angle down,
Yeah, the bracing.
Yeah.
That's what it-
and then they go this way, then the same thing on the other side.
Who's replacing those?
The guy that did the front door, Lemelin,
Okay, I'm just wondering if it'd be easier to bid the whole thing out as one project, have them change those and then do the screws.
I don't know if the roofers would give me a quote on the inside of the building. I mean, I could ask them,
It's these guys, they do,
they would do it,
They-
that's who gave me the
They
quote,
do that.
yeah, they do that.
they do the inside?
Yeah.
All right, well then,
Let's see if we can get it done all at
Yeah.
once now.
Yep. Works for me.
That way,
They're
One
already there.
lift, one lift, and you don't have to have multiple lifts and stuff.
I just have a quick question. So this estimate was not the result of an RFP?
No, it was just phone calls, looking for. people
Okay,
to
okay.
give
And
me a
that brought
price.
it in over the amount that would require an RFP.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Good on that. Other business. Taking up the truck on the other business.
Yes, Corey saw this and got me this information yesterday. Didn't necessarily want a decision tonight because you haven't seen it, but, they would hold it for us if we wanted to put a deposit.
Yeah.
Correct?
$500.
$500 deposit. You've seen it or not?
I saw it today. The only thing I told them that it would need to be fixed would be the safety jack underneath the body and one side rail pin is sticking. Other than that, I mean, it's got 6,000 and change for miles. No rust on, cab at all. The body has got surface rust, nothing of any. And the plow is in immaculate shape. It's, Doug, what did you say that plow, that was a commercial?
Western.
It's a Western, it's
Yeah.
a commercial Fisher plow.
It's the same parent company that bought Fisher, Western.
That plow is unbelievable. And it would actually address plowing this transfer station that I can't get pushed back because I'm too close to the edge with the plows that we have. So it's 10'6" versus our 9'2".
And what's the difference between this and just buying a new one and having the warranty?
Probably with what's on there, probably $30,000 at least, maybe 40.
So, I mean, the only way I'd even want to consider it is would save $25,000-$30,000 because I'd prefer to have warranties.
I certainly can, that's why I was just looking to see if I could throw a deposit on it. I certainly could come up with 2 other or 3 new quotes before April 1st.
I have a problem with throwing money down as a quote that we don't get.
It'll come back if we don't use it. I asked him.
As long as we get money back, I have
Yeah.
no problem holding it while we get the other prices.
Yeah, I agree there, yeah.
Yeah, he'll get it back. That was one of my questions.
But, I mean, I really want to see the difference between used versus new. I know this doesn't have a lot of miles on it, but I'd like to see that we're gonna save this. You know, I'd rather have, 36,000 mile warranty because we don't drive them all that much, so I mean.
No, I
really
No,
want to see
not a
the
problem.
difference
can get us prices.
first.
Where did this come from? Was it a trade-in?
It was a trade-in from a landscaping company in Winthrop. They were actually holding it for me until after the town meeting to see if we wanted it in the first place, but obviously he found something that he wanted. So he traded it.
This being diesel probably has a 100,000 mile warranty anyway.
Oh, really?
5-year, 100,000 on powertrain.
If it's transferred.
If it's transferable, which we'd want to know. Yep.
Okay.
First.
So we have a question, we have a thing to add into that is also, I think we did it on the Ford that we bought is to buy, see how much buy an extended warranty on that. To have that included in that price, so we have all the nuts and bolts when you're comparing prices.
Right, because I mean, if it saves us a lot of money, it's 6,000. I'm not crazy about the used trucks. I mean, I did find the one in retail that time, but a lot more miles than that.
Yeah.
Not crazy about used stuff without the warranties, but if we can get one, get an extended warranty on it. 6,000 miles isn't a lot of miles.
Yeah. And it looks like they were easy miles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the other thing though, the problem is in these trucks, they being diesel, if they just run short trips or just run. That's when, remember the last one, that refueled, they had to have all kinds of diesel parts changed
It
because
goes
it was
up.
everything was plugging it up, it wasn't getting run enough. And that's why refuel went back to a gas truck versus the diesel, because they just sit there and idle at low speed half the time. and
Yeah.
It plugs them up.
I can tell you that the new rescue truck with spec in is gonna be gas, not diesel, because of that.
So, but yeah, if we can find out all that information, it's something to consider. I won't guarantee it, but it's something to consider.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'll have it for next meeting.
Let's see how much we save. So we wanna make a motion to approve a $500 refundable deposit.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0.
The other thing is there was, the missing, Spirit of America Award. We each have you received a copy of that this evening. You'll see on the top right, this was actually received December 6th. Somehow it escaped all of us. I apologize for that. we would like this to be included. If the board would agree, and Mary would go ahead and get an award ordered to match the others, right, Mary?
Yes, actually, I already ordered that one, so I have it. It's the other one that I did not have.
You had one and I had one.
Yeah, so anyway, they've all been ordered. Everything's all set to go.
All right, so we just need a motion to approve this one that wasn't approved.
Right,
So moved.
second,
All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The only other thing I think, Corey, you wanted to briefly touch on is Dalton. Did you want
Oh,
to touch on
Yeah,
that?
So. Just before the town meeting, Mike asked me about it, and I said, look, it's not gonna go on a vote until Saturday, so. Should we have him receive a letter soon? From us or property management company, because I know he's gonna be asking,
Yeah,
he doesn't want to be held up.
right, I mean, well, we need to decide when we want the tenant.
oh, when we want the tenant out.
Um,
Well, realistically, how soon can we get? We've got the Historical Society, we've got to get their stuff out first. So. And then,
Summer day camp, do we wanna have demolition going on?
I
during
was just gonna say,
Summer
that.
day
So
camp?
summer day camp starts June 19th.
Or we could have it done before day.
Right, I don't want to move it out probably right now this time of year, I'd like to give him another month.
Yeah,
right,
You know, so that everything starts drying up and it's a little better weather.
he had mentioned, I think he saw it coming, because he mentioned he was gonna pick up a van and start moving some stuff.
He had been notified.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we let him
That it was
know
gonna go up,
several
I
months
remember
ago,
that.
several months ago. Yeah.
Okay. So we just need to make a decision on when we want
well,
the
today is,
management company to send out the letter or. Or talk to the management company and find out if they.
today's
Yeah,
the
I was
18th, you
hoping
wanna
we
give
had
them at
it in
least
the
30
last
days.
month of
Yeah.
Right, April 18th, or can we go till May 1st?
I think the law says they have 45 days.
Yeah,
after
I think you
provided
could go to May
notice.
first easy enough,
Yeah, I think so.
That would still give you time enough to,
and we could get our RFP out at that, I mean,
But you put the RFP out now, so that way
Yeah.
they're ready to come in. as
for the
soon as-
demolition.
exactly,
And you take both of them down at the same time
yep.
for economies?
Or-
So you guys are still another business, I would approve, you guys approve sending an RFP out for the demolition, so you can get it out before. Everybody gets really busy, because that's kind of on the tail end of
Yeah,
of the mud season, so maybe I'll get somebody to get
that's
into
true.
that.
We'll need to coordinate on hooking power ahead of that
Oh, good idea, yeah.
and water.
Water, well, yeah, we got to figure out what we're gonna do for water, because it's, but the other thing is we gotta
We
get
got diesel,
oil,
I mean,
oil tanks that
fuel
come
oil,
out.
is there anything to salvage out of either of them?
there's nothing in A.
Right,
And 10, the
10.
furnace is fairly good shape, so we probably will try to salvage that.
And that would be the only thing.
what about stoves or
No.
anything like that?
Uh-uh.
The only other thing we talked about is. Have the garage slab, if the slab isn't halfway decent shape, possibly leaving that for now.
Mhm.
And that way, if we decide we want to build a gazebo over it, or put tables there or something,
You have that in,
it's already there.
I haven't even looked at it, so I'll.
So we
I'll
want to
check.
take a look at that before
Yeah.
we tear it down.
Right.
If it's worth salvaging, it might be something. Because I mean, it really would be nice to have a covered picnic area down there.
would be nice, to
Agreed.
have, yeah,
That would be
We've already
nice.
got the slab. Something to think about.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna need a couple motions here, then we're gonna need a motion to either have our property, is it the property management company that's gonna do it?
Yes.
To have a property management company, send out a letter for. That's going to move.
terminating the lease,
Terminating the lease by on May 1st
yeah.
or April 30th.
Whatever 45 days is, you have to give them 45 days.
Yeah.
Right.
Why don't we say close to May 1st as they can legally?
Mhm.
I make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nothing. And then we need a motion to send out an RFP for Fight is on,
So moved.
tearing them down.
Are those, either of those buildings, I have not ever been in them, is that something that the fire department could use for any type of training?
No,
No, DEP won't let, it's way too many restrictions for DEP, and we already got a train building we're gonna use. Now on 27 not to burn, but to train in.
On that note, state police would like to train in Dalton 8,
For hazmat or what?
just for knocking entries and dogs. and-
They called and talked to me about that, and I told them to wait until after town meeting because voters would decide if they were going to approve, demoing those properties, and I also told them that there's mold.
Yeah, be careful about that.
I said, so you can't go in there, you can't go in there unless you've got masks and suits and all of that, and they said they didn't care, but we do because it's a liability.
They have to sign a liability, or sign off on
So
liability.
I'm not keen on letting them do that.
Okay.
And then one of the questions.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea with the mold. In there stirring it up, knocking doors in.
Oh, they would definitely be stirring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
It's a
would
tag
use-
team.
They would be using explosives.
I mean, I understand and they,
To do that.
and they need the practice and stuff, but I think that's the building they probably wanna avoid, so.
You could let them have tent over afterwards, because that's been cleaned up. Right?
Yeah, that's it,
Yeah,
as far as.
they can do that before that one down, see what happens.
Is there a storage unit there at Dalton as well?
No, just the
No.
basement.
Just the
The
basement?
other one, that's right. That's
Yeah,
a
that's
different
it.
Dalton.
Dalton.
I was thinking there was a little
Dalton,
shed
Yeah,
there. but-
Dalton 18 is the other one, that's all.
Shed, right?
Yeah, it's like a shed.
That's just storage.
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah, that would stay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it
That's
needed
gonna
to stay or go.
No, it's the-
Yeah, that one's.
Do we take a vote on our,
I moved it. We need a second.
We have a
You didn't, Doug?
Oh, Doug, sorry.
Okay, got it.
all right, all those in favor of the RFP? 5-0.
Want to do another one?
Let's go and be done with it.
RFP for the trail from Center for All Seasons to the shore. With the ARPA money.
I thought we had that.
I have yet to put out the RFP, and it's gonna be 15-ish, so we
Yeah.
might as well,
Oh, I
think
thought we already had
You
it.
budgeted 20.
yeah.
I think we had a quote when we were allocating ARPA money, but we
Yeah.
probably never
Estimate,
RFP'd
It's not
it.
enough,
Yeah,
yeah, it's not.
Hasn't
Okay.
officially gone out as an RFP
okay.
with specs as to what I want done and how I want it done, so.
Be a good time with everything else going on in here.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe you could get a couple, somebody that's hauling stuff away, the excavators and stuff, get them to do the same thing,
Yeah,
add on to their job. All right,
you're right, because some of them would.
Yeah.
motion for RFP for installing the trail down to Center for All Seasons.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good deal. We're on a roll.
Now, what about the RFP for the study of the Center for All
I said,
Seasons?
who's gonna write all
We
these?
approved the money.
I
Should we get that out at the same time? We wanna wait.
Carol wants to know about the study for the Center for All Seasons.
We approved the money, but does that, do you wanna wait and do that a little later on?
Yeah, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have a few more meetings.
Okay.
You brought it up, we need to replace, Melanie was a select board member
Oh, it's a liaison.
as a liaison. So. That's
Do you meet during the day or in the evenings?
during the day.
It has been during the day. It was not every Wednesday, but it was Wednesdays from 2 to 3. And that was based on Melanie's schedule,
Right.
I believe. So
Well, no, that was more based on Corbin. That was a lot of that was Corbin.
okay, and Corbin's did say he could do, we'll have to double check his days. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. We were limited because of both of their schedules.
Yeah, that's
And it
right.
was. Yeah.
I mean, I can work on that only because it doesn't look like we'll be doing as much on the fire station. Right?
We're probably gonna meet this, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, moving forward,
Yeah,
there probably
We're
won't,
gonna be going right full bore. We're
you're
actually
gonna
coming-
full board?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
be coming to a board with you guys,
I don't,
They go for a ball.
No,
I could do it.
you can do it, okay. Unless you guys wanna take time off work.
Yeah, but the problem is working during the day, it's.
Yeah.
Word. So, do we need a motion first? Have Barbara.
I don't think so.
What was
Let me
this?
check.
Just-
I move we have Barbara be the select board liaison to the Parks and Recreation Board,
It's actually the building committee.
the building committee, okay. And we should replace,
Wait, let's do that first.
yeah,
Not that we don't want you on first.
Michael and second that.
No, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Peter was the liaison to the short-term rental committee that we've never really gotten going. But now he could be, if we could get him to be a member. We just need a, liaison from the board.
Again, where, if and when they meet, depends.
Right.
I mean,
I'm on that board, so I've never got an email.
Because we didn't have enough, full enough board.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
why don't we just flip flop then, see if Pete will become a member and.
Yeah,
Represent.
He's already part of it, so.
yeah.
Good idea.
So you guys last year as a board, or maybe it was longer than that ago, voted that any committee meetings were gonna be after 6 o'clock at night. The ones that were already existing doing during the day meetings was fine, but any others was gonna be at 6, because it makes it kind of hard for most of your taxpayers in the town of Belgrade to be in public meetings to attend them because they're all at work. So I think you guys should be sticking to the 6 o'clock meeting times.
This one was already established for 2 o'clock.
Yeah, but
But the one that Doug's on,
The short
never
term.
really got him going, is it?
Right.
No, it hasn't gotten
Right.
going,
So-
no.
Yeah, I think.
If we can do that,
No, there hasn't been.
So
we haven't had enough
move-
people.
I move that we have Doug Sawyer to be the liaison to the Parks and Rec.
No,
I mean, not for the
Short-term.
short-term rental committee. And we can check to see about another member.
Peter Rush.
We don't do it. I know,
You don't want to mention Peter, okay.
it's got to come through the other way, right?
Okay.
So,
second, I'll second it.
Yeah.
And all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe we can reach out to Peter and see if he's willing to
yeah,
get in the thing from. Member at large. Anything else for committees or RFPs?
Is there enough on that short term to get started, enough people on that to get
I think we
started?
need one more person. I'll have to look at it.
I think they're 4. Cause
Bruce,
Peter was,
thanks,
Peter was
Bruce.
not part of it.
I just saw Bruce raise his hand. Yeah.
I just have a question. I guess I wasn't here for what the purpose is of that committee and what the mission is, I guess.
They're looking at guidelines for like Airbnbs and everything else, because people are just. Doing willy-nilly, and it's annoying neighbors.
And overloading septic system.
Overloaded septic is a big piece.
Yeah.
Water quality.
They're looking at, I think there's a realtor, at least the realtor's on,
A realtor.
Yeah,
Laura
Laura
Richter.
Richter.
yeah,
All right.
so,
I just didn't know if it was like short-term rental of like
no.
property or.
Oh, no.
It's more like,
Airbnb,
it's more like
VRBO.
Airbnb type stuff, or VRBO, whatever they call them.
You have a septic that's for like a 3-bedroom and they have 20 people there.
Yeah, now Airbnbs are becoming huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it's for.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
But we need one more member.
if you need a member on it. Yeah, I got nothing else. in my free time. Oh, trust me, I got many copies.
We can get that turned in, and maybe Peter or somebody, that will be full.
That will be full, right?
Get over.
Yep.
All right, so moving on to warrants. Got anything else?
Okay.
Thank you, Corey, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Right.
Corey, you're working tomorrow, right?
No. Tomorrow's a fishing day.
Oh.
Yes, I'm working tomorrow.
I need to work on the measurements on the porta potty for the portalette.
Okay, I'm getting ready to order 2 porta potties, so. They want
No,
it
I
for the
just
fire
need to get
department,
them.
so I'll get the measurements.
Thank you.
Welcome. And just so you know, I'm going to order all the porta potties from Stanley's this year. They did a really good job with this one at this Village Green this year, so we're gonna try them. They're gonna match any price that anybody gives us, so they did a great job, just so you know.
Something about it too.
Yeah. Ball field, Historical Society.
Do they have a different price between handicapped and non-handicapped? They do?
Yeah.
They all do.
175 to 200, I think, or 150 to and 175. It's that,
It's, yeah.
it's that.
Quick question though. Can we get them to give us a price up front?
Oh, yeah,
Well, we
absolutely.
get the prices from the other ones for that. I'd hate to have them be cheaper and then all of a sudden somebody comes in at this price and go, oh, I'll match that.
No, they've given me a price for budget wise already.
Okay.
I do believe it's 175 for normal, 200, but it could be 150 and 175. So, and that's just what I paid last year. So,
All right,
okay,
Okay, so, yeah.
that was good.
have a good night.
Good night.
All right, on to the warrants. We'll start off with warrant number 24, BMV warrant number 24.
Move we approve.
Second,
That's $51,296. All those in favor? 3, 4, 5. Payroll warrant number 25. $20,562.56.
I move we approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-0. Payroll warrant, number 26, $21,651.97.
So move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0. And AP warrant number 28.
No, B,
Yeah.
B.
Oh, sorry, I missed one, yeah. BMV warrant number 27, $4,570.88.
Move to approve.
Second.
No discussion, all those in favor? 3, 4, 5. Now the AP warrant number 28, $734,372.93.
Move to approve.
Second.
There, and that's the one that usually we have a little bit of discussion on, if anybody had.
I had one. In between the snowplow and the school board.
Right, that's the big one. So I had a question on all on the floor dog training, because that's a program where the rec center,
Yeah.
people pay their fees to the rec center and then we pay.
Yes, they pay the instructor, yes.
Okay,
The full certification isn't cheap, is it?
No, $800.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Like, ugh.
yeah.
How long's that certification good?
Mm. It's gonna be more than
I hope
one
it's
year.
more than 1 year.
It's gotta be. I bet it's three or 5.
Wow.
so that's for Corey and Kristen to be certified.
Yes.
Maybe it's lifetime certification.
So,
I'm sure it's probably
while you
like.
guys going through that, if none of you guys have seen seen the system in the, behind you, that's a system that DOT's talking about installing on the property, it's what's behind you. In that closet, that's what it's gonna look like.
Originally, this was supposed to be 6 feet that way.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't see anything that jumps right off at me. On the warrant. Anybody else see anything? Got any questions? Laura tries to have all the backup out here in the folder, so we can answer any questions you might have.
I've looked at this for a week.
Oh, so this bill of sale will happen, correct?
Yes, I'll correct that, but I'll be the one signing it
Yeah.
anyway, so, and I've got the Word document.
All right, so everyone's all set, no questions, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Town managers reports.
This in. Thank you to Town Clerk Mary Vogel, Deputy Clerks Ian Key and Joanne for their commitments of time and effort in preparation for annual town meeting. Getting the town report wrapped up and to the printer, thanks especially to Mary. Absentee ballots prepared and ready for voters. Working with the auditor to wrap up our 2024 audit, which we received a draft of for the town report. Running the in-person election on Friday, setting up for Saturday's meeting. The town report has been mailed to residents and is also available digitally on our website. We had 395 voters on Friday and 130 voters for town meeting on Saturday. All of those numbers were up from last year.
They were substantially up,
Yeah,
that was.
was really good. We had a good turnout, despite our lack of advertising.
Mm.
The spring newsletter was completed and mailed out to residents in advance of town meeting. It is also available digitally on our website. A team of Mary Vogel, Gary Mahler, Voiceless, Barbara Allen, and myself conducted interviews for the position of treasurer. We are pleased to welcome Penny Braley of Belgrade to our team on March 31. Penny is from the Newport area and has recently moved to Belgrade from Bethel. She has many years of accounting experience and will be a great asset. We will be getting back to once a month presentations from departments and committees beginning April 1. I've roped Corey into being our first
The first one.
presenter. Fire and Rescue hosted our annual safety training March 9. Thank you to all who presented. Great job. TAN bids are due March 25 and will be included on the agenda for April 1. Reaching out to Senator King and Collins' offices, we learned that the recent budget bill passed at the federal level to avoid a shutdown removed all CDS grant applications for 2025. It's because they capped the budget at 2024 levels, so it erased everything for 25. We should hear more this week on the possibility that all applications will be included for 26. We will update the board as additional information becomes available. Both the board of select persons and building committee have been notified. I do have an update on that. Employee reviews will begin in April as outlined in our employee handbook. Our first report for PFML is coming right up for the first quarter of 2025. That's that new 0.5% paid by employees, 0.5% paid by the town. Registration with the state portal site is complete. Code Enforcement Officer Hans Rasmussen has put together suggested price changes for permit fees, which will be added to an upcoming agenda for the board's review and consideration and discussion. We will be meeting with KV soon to wrap up additional information needed on the comprehensive plan so the committee can meet, review, and finalize. The state has opened participation in salt bids. We need to have that information to them by April 18. KV has opened theirs as well and should have bid results by the end of May. RSU 18 has opened participation for fuel, which is due March 24. We've submitted information to KV and I'm waiting for information from Corey to do the fuel bid. I've got Ken's and Jason is gonna get me information for the state. So we can get all of our information to each entity and hopefully get the best pricing. On the radar, the 101 Main Street property, Miss Blackburn to do a follow-up. We've put a request out to our attorney. Actually, insurance and then attorney. Insurance wouldn't touch it and referred us to our attorney for legal advice. I do have a response from Phil's office on that, so I can update the board, maybe at the next meeting or at the meeting afterward. I did send out some information to you with regard to a dumpster, Hammond lumber deliveries, and a porta potty. The porta potty was on the town-owned parcel. The dumpster was not on the town parcel, but town parcel being used to access it. And the Hammond lumber delivery was delivered, I believe, just over the town parcel line, but again, utilizing the town parcel to gain entry to that 101 Main Street property. So if you remember, we put up cones to cordon off that area so that you could easily see that this is the town parcel. Notice of violation, cease and desist, no using the town parcel. Cones were removed and it was being used. So Hans had the porta potty moved off the town property. Corey went down, put the cones back up with some stakes and tape. He was gonna do hay bales as well, but these hay bales out here are completely saturated from the rain. They probably weigh 90 pounds a piece, so they haven't put those down there, but
I still think we need to talk about seeing if they'll just buy that piece of property. Because this is gonna drive us crazy
yeah.
and it's gonna cost us money in the long run.
It's either that or keep that parcel as, you could probably do 4 parking spots there and use it for downtown, the village area.
I don't know, being that close to that corner, I don't know if you can. You'd have to put them end to end, I don't think you could drive them in. I don't
No,
think
you
it's deep
can't, you
enough.
have to park end to end.
And by the time you get close to that stop sign, I think you're too close to the intersection.
But just, and somebody may have to go back to the recording to listen to it, but I thought you guys as a board gave her permission to do construction and to go back and forth across that property with the construction.
I don't think you gave. any
There was
decision,
something
there
that
was
we
no
did
decision.
talk to her about, and I don't remember without going back and listening to
You
it.
guys probably need, if you do too much action, probably you guys need to go back and listen to that, because I'm pretty sure you guys gave her permission to access, to go back and forth with the dumpster and materials to do that. I can't say for
it seemed
sure.
like- when I saw the email that, I got thinking that we did do something
Yeah.
too, and I didn't,
We should start Kevin Hawes were here at the
Right.
meeting when you guys did that.
right?
I know I made the statement that from a personal opinion, but that was personal opinion.
Yeah.
And the rest of the board was not agreeing or did not verbalize they agreed with me. They may have, but they didn't
I
say
think
so.
in the minutes, there's no
No.
permission or motion or
Right.
anything like that.
So,
Well, let's verify it. before we
Yeah.
Get too carried away, but
yeah,
I know we talked about possibly asking her if she was willing to buy this piece of property, and I think,
For market value or whatever.
yeah, it's not doing us any good.
well,
And we had
other-
talked about that, but we also talked about looking at what other small odd parcels the town owns, so that we can take a comprehensive look at it.
I don't want to set a precedent that then puts us in another position on
I
that.
just didn't see a lot of the town owned land go back to the
Right.
tax map, so.
I would too.
No,
So in April, that will come before you. And
All right.
so. you-
Well, let's take a look and make sure we didn't
yeah, what we said,
Somehow.
what we did,
Mhm.
say that we
absolutely.
did something.
But we did not give permission to put a porta potty on our property.
Yeah.
I will say that. I don't either.
We
He said
did not do that.
Like I said, if there's anything, it was just to act, not to put stuff on it.
To access
To
it.
access back and
Right.
forth, that was it, not to
Right.
put stuff on the property, just to access
Right,
back and
I think it
forth.
was to access a dumpster.
Yeah, like maybe the dumpster could come in and then the dumpster could go, but you could
Yeah.
go back and forth.
Right.
Right.
And that was just that was a one person opinion.
Yeah,
So anyway, on the radar, that follow-up, the review of the 4-day work week. Adding a water trustee, we were lacking one, however, we may not
We
need
may
that.
not need
Yeah, we
one.
should put that on hold.
The
until
short-term
December.
rental ad hoc committee sounds like we have a good handle on that after tonight. ARPA expenditures, that portal should open next month. The CDS grant for the fire station, Center for All Seasons updates, plan and funding, employee handbook updates and reviewing policies.
Laura, did we send a written thank you to Gary Mowen?
I haven't yet, but it is on my list.
Okay,
I have a
think
couple
we
I
should,
need to
just
send
because
out.
as a
Yes,
citizen, he volunteered.
There's,
Ron, do you have any idea when we may have to tap into the teams? Possibly.
Yeah, it depends on when we move the reserve accounts out of the regular checking account.
So so when do we normally move the reserves? I guess that one confuses
Well,
me when we move that.
Well, the reserve accounts, we haven't moved them. Meaning that $3 million that make up all of our reserve accounts. That hasn't been moved, it's been sitting in our checking account. Which you can't use those
Right.
funds, right, for daily operating expenses. So at some point, probably once we get the TAN bids in, the board decides on who to go with. We have that in place so that we can draw. We'll want to take all of that reserve money, we'll move it over to the existing account set up for that. So it takes it out of the checking account. That's gonna drop our checking account significantly.
So including what we approved at town meeting on Saturday, that will be out, or do we do that at the end of?
I
23.
didn't see,
yeah.
I didn't see a consistent timeline for when Nick would move. Money approved at town meeting, adding money to those reserve accounts. I haven't identified a consistent.
Right, cause that would
Time.
get,
I would recommend waiting
So-
until after taxes start coming in.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
move that money, cause that
if
way.
we can get tax bills
We don't
out
have to
like
do
we
that.
did last year, even though they weren't due until September, we took in most of our tax money, I believe, in July.
Yeah.
A significant amount,
yeah.
Yeah.
so,
It's just, you know,
yeah.
I'm thinking, cause I'm still looking at that big tan number of $100,000, so less that we can take from that, if we
Okay.
can
Absolutely
off.
agree.
deposit in 2025's capital reserve money into their accounts
Absolutely
until
agree.
after taxes come in.
Absolutely agree,
I'd feel more comfortable with that.
absolutely agree.
And we should make a policy on that moving forward. I mean, let's get things settled
Yeah.
and then figure out, then we'll have a
I'll
policy
bring
of when we're gonna
something
do
to
it.
you, within a month or maybe 2 months.
Once we see the change.
I've got a financial policy that actually was brought to the select board 15 years ago, maybe longer. They actually took it up in a meeting and then tabled it. I believe it came back to them one more time. They tabled it, never took it back up again. But it's a great policy. So I think that it would be very beneficial.
To look at.
Yeah,
Well, the other thing we need to start looking at, get back to is going through all our job descriptions and everything else.
Right.
yeah, those need to be updated.
Because I know, I mean, it's hard, you've been out a lot. And with you out, and Mary's basically acting town manager, you're not here doing day to day, but people are going to Carol or whoever asking questions, and everything should be going to. It should be written down,
They weren't
everything
coming
goes
to
to
me asking
Mary.
questions.
When
but-
Mona's not here and it gets too confusing, so
Yeah.
we need to go back to these policies and make sure they're all written out the way they should be.
Yeah,
I have two questions. Do we know who iPhone 74 is up there so that we can identify that person by name?
I do not. iPhone 74, can you unmute yourself and let us know who you are for record of the minutes?
Hi, can just unmute.
It's Melanie.
Put your name up there.
I was just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to Zoom on my phone. And it just made me do some weird thing where I had to do like a tap the spot to speak. So, sorry.
All righty,
And then
If
I have another.
I'll try to figure it out for the next time.
sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and two of the warrants haven't been updated with select person's names, so should they,
They just-
some of them have been just whited out, so do you want them to go ahead and sign and then you'll just fix the names?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, those were done prior to town meeting.
Yeah,
Oh, it's like all the stuff that went out. We have signed a town meeting,
So why don't
and
you?
then the signature page with ours.
yeah.
And
My
then,
name has
and
been
then,
white,
because.
whited out.
What happened on some of those? You got written in.
I don't know what happened, because it looked like they typed selectmen and half of the word was down here and half was up there, and somebody tried to white out the signature and everything.
Okay,
All right, does anybody have anything else, or?
I move we adjourn.
Yeah, it sounds good to me, I'll second it.
Okay, and then.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning?
Bye.
Now, don't get
And then-
used to this, but
I
this is
know.
really good.
So then-
Good.
Well,